Oh, actually, another thing, I don't know, do you listen to any Jay Smith videos?
I do sometimes, yeah.
I don't know if you watched the last ones he did about the 10 things about Christianity.
Yeah, I comment as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
But I don't know if you noticed the part where he was lying about the Quran though.
I know, but I become, to be honest, it's like he lies so much, it become not interesting, and the way he talk about stuff, obvious lies, even when he talk about the existence of Prophet Muhammad, which all the humankind now they heard about who is Prophet Muhammad, and like really ridiculous.
Because I don't know if well you did do those videos a little while ago. So I don't know if you remember some of the things that you said in them. Because I'm just trying to get them. No, I have the feeling usually when it rains, it's easier to talk to people when it's raining. Because they I noticed that some of the louder people they don't seem to like the rain. So some of them do. There's others that don't. Right, so you want to just talk here, or do you want to go to the side? Or?
We can talk there.
Yeah. Right. So you know when you do your videos, do you kind of make notes?
Me making a note?
Yeah.
Yeah, because before I set to do a video, I prepare myself about the subject I want to talk about. Then I sit and I talk about it, and I put paper in front of me.
Right.
And I say what I need to say. I give references.
All right, because I don't know if you remember. Well, I suppose you don't have your notes about those 2 videos about the women. Or I suppose you could probably remember them, I suppose. No, it's just what happened is that I was supposed to have bought my stand. Well, I bought the stand and I forgot the holder for the phone.
My stand is there myself.
No, to hold the phone, because I had like there's a holder.
Where is it?
Huh?
Where is it, your stand?
No. I've got everything else except for the holder. Yeah, so but you don't know. All right. So the first thing that I noticed is that are you going to get a new headset? Or because it seems what it is. Have you noticed the amount of noise that you get from your headset?
I don't think it's from the headset. I guess there is like a little bit, I guess, from the laptop itself.
Yeah, usually that would happen if the because is it a USB headset? Or,
I mean,
no, but how does it plug in?
like there's 2 holes.
Oh,
And
right,
it's,
okay.
So one is for the speaker,
Yeah.
and one for.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what that is, that's the noise from your laptop. So
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. What you should do is, you can get like a cheap USB speakers. Sorry, USB sound cards. You can get them for like about £7, £8.
I guess I have, but I realize that I use another one and the sound wasn't as clear as the other ones. That's why I kept using the one I'm using.
Right,
And
but
I have another speaker you plug it in, but I'm not using it because that's why I put it here. I can.
no, because what it is, I think there's probably a capacitor loose in your laptop somewhere, and so it's not filtering the noise. The only reason I'm saying is because it sounds really bad. So when I'm listening,
Really bad?
yeah, you can hear it. You can hear it quite loud.
But nobody mentions that. This is the first time somebody says that about because I listened to the video even after I didn't realize that it have a bad effect.
Oh, but you listen to it through your laptop, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. It would filter the sound. You have to listen to it through like speakers, and then you hear the hiss.
I will try to do that.
Yeah, it's improved though, because I think earlier on it was louder, but in your last two videos I noticed it is quieter, but you can still hear it quite. Alright, so that's that out of the way. So your first video was about the women in Islam, and you were saying about how the women that in the days of Islam, the women used to stay at home because it used to be the men that would go out.
Okay.
But you're saying that now it's the women who are working.
They are working.
Yeah, so they have a share in the money they bring into the house.
Yeah.
But I suppose what you should have mentioned is that the only reason Muslim women work nowadays in a lot of countries is simply because Islam was defeated as a world power.
Okay.
Yes, so it's not, obviously in the times when Islam was a world power, what you said there wouldn't really have applied to the women. So that's only a modern thing.
What I'm saying is the rules is still the same, and we need to treat women because men and women are equal as the eyes of God, and each one of them, it will be rewarded about their deed by God. But when the man is the one who's the breadwinner, it doesn't mean that if the women are the breadwinner, that the man should abuse her or she should abuse him, because what brings them in tranquility and peaceful harmony relationship, it's respect and communication between themselves and respect, and this is what it's supposed to happen. While the tradition during the last 14 years, due to culture, there's misunderstanding from on the part of a man to appreciate and treat his woman as she should.
Right. So well, I suppose what I'm just saying about that particular point is that first point that you made in the video, that was a modern thing. So it wasn't really. So the scholars, it had to be the modern scholars who sort of came up with that way of treating women, and it wouldn't have been related to anything that your prophet would have said, because the setting is different.
What I'm saying is, it doesn't need a scholar or anybody, because when the Prophet Muhammad, he came with a set of rules, a set of rule by God toward how you need to treat your women, how to treat your daughter, how to treat your mother, how to treat your female as a whole. So you don't need a scholar, you need somebody to just take it on and respond in a kind appropriate way of be submissive to God by obeying God's rules toward women.
Right.
You see as a whole what I'm saying?
Yeah. But essentially what that is that would so they were responding to how things are in modern times. They weren't like strictly going by what was written down in Islam that came from the old times. I suppose what you could say is that it didn't, obviously, in your original like history of Islam, since those things weren't there related to how you treat women in modern times, that means they would have had to, effectively come up with their own. They would come up with their own rulings.
Who they come up with on ruling?
Well, it would be either your scholars or you're the leaders, religious leaders.
What I'm saying is, the rule for the people, normal people, to read and understand and apply. So the scholar would have, if I'm more knowledgeable and other people approach me, I need to simplify what Quran is telling them and advise them to apply it on their life.
Right.
So the normal people, that's why we have a ceremony every Friday. We call khutbah, like a speech by Imam. Imam is a scholar or somebody who read and understand. So he conveys the same message of the Quran, explain it and explain what the Prophet, peace upon him, have teach to the people. The people now need to reflect upon how they are treating their women and how they are dealing with their surrounding first family, and this will bring family by family into good society, which obedience and living in harmony and love.
Oh yeah. So it sounds to me like it's a good how do you say, a good parallel for how things are with the rest of the world. So you could say it was just Islam being modernized.
What I'm saying, Islam, the Prophet, peace upon him, he said he didn't come but to perfect the moral standard. And the moral standard, which is better than it become from you and the nearest to you, then the nearest, then the nearest. And this is how you spread equality, harmony, love, and better community. This is what I said. The Prophet said, I am the best for my family, and the best among you is the best for his family. So from this on, we see the foundation how to become the best. You got my point?
No, I can understand. You're just saying it's just a modern. It's just Islam being modernized. That's what it sounds like. But the next part in that first video, you then was talking about what it said in the Quran, and what you were emphasizing was that the Surah 434 was saying that the women that you had to hit. So when it said you had to strike them, you were doing some. No, I think later on you did some research into the word, but at first you just said that meant lightly.
Yes.
So in your right. So in your opinion, would you say it's okay to hit women?
Actually, the hitting is to draw her attention to what you want her to do. So, and this is why the Prophet, peace upon him, explained it, that if you have miswak, the one you do, you hit her like this. So there is no harm being done, just to draw her attention. And what I said, there is 6,336 verse in the Quran, and there's only one word to say beat them. But there is as well, there is a condition till you reach this. Instead of losing your marriage, your wife, your children, and your marriage. And because if you feel rebellious, even the women, if she feel her husband is playing around and he's not right, she's not going to come and hit him. She will have the right to discuss it with him. Then if she sees that he's not responding, she can call somebody from her own family and somebody from his own family. They sit and they try to resolve the problem. If they didn't reach an agreement, so the last solution is divorce. And when the divorce is happening, the women they have the right to stay in their own home, and the husband should go somewhere else because he is like a guest in his own home. So it's her home, not his.
But here's interesting about what you just said there is all of what you just said there. Did you get it from the Quran?
From the Quran, yes.
You did?
Yes, because there is the chapter An-Nisa, chapter 4, and chapter 65, Surah Al-Talaq. And if you read all the verses regarding the conflict between a husband and his wife, this is the solution. Even when the divorce man, he divorced his wife. Let's say she's pregnant. When she gave birth, he is responsible still on paying her and nursing the children, which is his and her. So he need to even keep his duty toward his own children.
Right. Because he's genuinely so. Yeah. So what the comment out. Yeah. So the comment I would make on. All right. So just to confirm, what you're saying is that so the man can hit her lightly, just as a way of showing his annoyance. Would you say, or just to try and get the point across? Right. So.
And I give an example. For example, as an example, if your child, for example, you're walking with him and there is traffic around, and the boy, he's you running around without looking, and he might jump to the street in front of oncoming car.
Yeah.
You come and you slap him on his hand. That careful. You're not slapping him actually to harm him. You are slapping him to draw his attention. What he's doing is dangerous. It might harm him more. So the hit is to physically, like shaking him. Be careful. And this is exactly the way it is for your women. Because if your woman is not responding to you and see what she's doing wrong, and she about to lose, to spoil the marriage, there should be a way of waking her up. If she doesn't respond to a few, first you talk to her. Then second, you try to stay away from her in bed and you treat her like as she's nothing. And this should attract her attention. But if she's not willing to be obedient and submissive, even according to the Bible, and try to work out what's going on wrong in her own life and or marriage, that means where we are going.
Right. So
I'm married for 23 years. Sometimes between and my wife, we have argument. I have my child. I'm telling him something. She go and defend him.
Right.
Yeah. I tell her, please let me speak to him because it seems that he's not listening to me. And sometimes I shout at her, you stay out of it. You know, because she need to back me up because we are the adult and the boy need to respond to us.
yeah.
I do the same. If she's shouting at him to correct him, I'm not gonna be defending him against her because this will create a problem.
Yeah.
You understand the point?
Yeah, I understand. But what you're doing is you're describing how you discipline a child. So in Islam, would you say that when you're looking at how it is in the Quran and the way that the scholars describe how that particular verse, would you say that there's an unevenness?
What I am saying is sometimes even the man to be disciplined.
Yeah.
As a woman, as we are equal, and that's why I said when the woman realize that her husband need to be disciplined, she's not gonna come and hit him because he physically, if she hit him, let's say she hit him hard, he gonna beat her up big time. So what's the solution? The solution, she contact maybe his father, his uncle, somebody can talk to him and to see he is wrong. And similar, she can contact one of her family to support her, to talk to his family that what he's doing is not acceptable as an equal term. And this is how you need to reconcile and try to resolve any issue.
Right. So if you ended up in a situation where, say the man was treating the wife unfairly, and he went to the imam at the mosque, and the imam just said to him, well, she's getting a bit rebellious, so you're going to have to execute that particular surah. If the man did actually hit her, he didn't hit her lightly, but he didn't cause a bruise, but he hit her in a way where he's a bit angry.
Okay.
Would that imam be right?
No. What the imam would do, as he listened to him, he should take a note what's going on.
Right.
Then he, in a separate room, sit with her, call her, and sit with her, and listen to her side of story. Then
it's the wrongness of what has been done. Because remember what I said about that particular imam. So if he decided not to do what you just said there about doing the European way of trying to reconcile the marriage, and just went straight to the hadith, and then used the way that your prophet judged a similar situation, would he be wrong?
He would be wrong. But the prophet, I don't think the prophet, when they come and complain to him, actually he told them, how dare you treat your women like you're beating a mule or a horse? At the end of the day, you go and you want to sleep with her. That means he he's telling them, shame on you, because you are treating your women in disgusting way. At the end, you're going and sleeping with them. So actually, in direct way, he is telling them what you're doing is not acceptable, because if you have 1% of dignity, you wouldn't offend your women. Besides, the Quran say, وَعَاشِرُوهُمْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, treat them with kindness. And the Quran say, عسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم. You might hate something, and in it there's plenty of good for you, because the Prophet, peace upon him, said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given you the permission to take them and to sleep with them in lawful way, but with permission of God, and you need to respect this bond between you and be respectable to yourself. So the Prophet never affirmed that if somebody beat his wife to go and beat her again. And all those hadiths which is talk about that the Prophet hit somebody on the chest and make it green more than the green of the clothes. Let me finish. the same narrator Bukhari who came 185 years after the Prophet said about our mother Aisha radiallahu anha, may God be pleased with her, that the Prophet was like a Quran walking, and he never beat with his hand. The Prophet never beat a slave or a servant or a woman. So
but that, so even though because what the important thing is, it's not even really what he did, it's how did he, or did he ever chastise any of his followers? Because that's more important, because whatever he told his followers to do, that's what people do. You expect people to do now, isn't it? So you know the one you said about the the green skin one, the woman with the green skin, sorry, who had the bruises, so do you think your Prophet, when he remember he said about the two people having a dispute, so when your Prophet had a similar situation to that, where he had to speak to both of them, do you think he did the same thing that you just said, where he took them each aside and spoke to them and tried to convince them?
Well, at the time of the Prophet, peace upon him, when the Prophet says something, even if he didn't talk to the women, when he talked to the man should acknowledge what the Prophet have teach him and apply it.
Right.
And this is where the conclusion of our conversation, it rely on what the Prophet, peace upon him, teach and what the Quran teach.
Right.
And women, actually, including the mother, Quran teaches us that women, even they are weak physically, but they should be treated with dignity, with honor, with love. And whoever, any man, this is my own opinion, any man, he raise his hand against his wife or his sister or his daughter, this man have no dignity, have no moral, have a wrong idea of what Islam is all about. And this is my last conclusion for the whole. Salam alaikum. Eid Mubarak. It's fine. But we are talking about how Islam teach how to treat women. I have two videos, and the brother he have some note. I'm trying to explain to him.
Misconception.
This is what I'm telling him. What Islam teach is not a tradition. If the tradition contradict what Quran and the Sunnah teach, it's people behavior. You cannot blame Islam for what the Muslim do.
It's a culture thing.
This is what I'm trying to push through. And I guess I explained enough, and he understands now.
Right. So you know what you're saying about the. Remember, I was trying to explain. About what your Prophet did in that situation. So do you want to hear what he did or what he said?
I don't need to. I just explain to you, and there's no need to just go around it because it become. If we're gonna talk about it for 1 hour and a half, it's gonna become boring.
No, it's just
How long have you been recording?
But I suppose at least if we could. I think it's only been like half an hour.
Half an hour?
No, 26 minutes.
26 minutes, more than enough.
But
tell me what you have.
No. But so I just want to confirm. So, would you say that what it says in this Sahih al-Bukhari hadith?
Yeah.
So would it be valid? The conclusion.
Yeah.
That the way your Prophet explained, gave his conclusion.
Yeah.
Would an imam be able to conclude in the same way your Prophet did?
What I'm saying is, when I mention the hadith of Bukhari, who came 185 years after the narration, there's some hadith being put just to degrade and mislead others.
Right.
What I'm saying is, the Prophet, peace upon him, laid down the law and he teaches the Quran. And he didn't have only one wife. He have 11 wives. Even after his death, if he used to treat his women, his own women, in a bad way, that means all his followers, they should do the same. And this would contradict the Quran. You lost. You look like lost.
No, because the Quran says that you can strike them, and the men in here.
Didn't I explain? There is a lot of procedure before you come to the conclusion of beating them, and even I explained beating them how it have to be. Even I told you, any man, regardless of religion as well, any man who reach the level of beating women, he is not a man. Because the Prophet, let me remind you about this. The Prophet, peace upon him, one man came to him, and he asked the Prophet, what should I do? The Prophet, peace upon him, said, don't get angry. He told him, advise me more. He told him, don't get angry. He said, advise me more. The Prophet said, don't get angry, because when you are angry, actually you lose your temper and you can do whatever. When you're drunk, you might lose your temper and do something bad, and you might regret your action later on. And this is from this base, so you don't come to a degree where you lose your temper and you do something out of your mind. Simple.
Yeah, I understand that part, but see, the main thing I'm trying to get to is, because you're saying that the Imam, if he judged things according to how your Prophet did in this Bukhari, the one about the woman, the green spot, you're saying that he wouldn't be right to judge it that way. That's the part I don't get. So are you saying that? Because I suppose this is the important thing, is that you it sounds like you're a bit like what's his name, Mufti Abu Layth, where you don't like certain hadiths which show the Prophet in the bad.
Because if it contradicts the Quran, it contradicts other hadiths. I reject the hadith which is actually contradict the moral standard of the Prophet. Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak.
Come to Islam wholeheartedly.
Sorry?
Come to Islam wholeheartedly. Inshallah.
Me?
Yes.
Do you think I'm...
Wholeheartedly, kafatan.
No, because you reject,
I agree.
You reject hadith.
I agree.
Wholeheartedly, because you have a lot to catch up on.
I agree.
He was
And I don't work with you. Don't work with me.
It's
Don't work with me. You're by yourself. If you want to come to Islam wholeheartedly. Right?
Can you advise me what I did wrong?
Just go and watch your videos that you've done with Hatun, your friend.
It's been a long time I didn't do with Hatun, but I will accept your advice if you tell me.
Brother, we told you many times not to give them airtime, but you never listen.
When was last time I talked to her?
But doesn't matter. Even after,
All the time.
after we advised you, you still went on.
Okay, Jazakumullah khairan. Jazakumullah khairan.
Oh, yeah.
okay. Do you have the same thing happened with Abbas last week?
It's over 6 months I didn't talk to the woman. He's telling me you're a friend. To be honest, it's offensive the way he's talking to me.
No, actually, didn't you see her at all? I thought I saw you. She had.
When she's here, I talk to her, but I'm not.
Oh, it was on camera.
I'm not uploading on camera. I'm not
right.
talking to her on camera. But the way, to be honest, it's very offensive the way he's telling me.
Yeah, but I think.
And instead of talking to me in a good manner and he just, I told you once and you didn't obey me, so this is the way I see it. I don't care, to be honest. I'm not here just to...
But you realize that actually highlights something we were talking a little bit about. So he sounds more like someone who would staunchly defend the hadith. So this hadith about the woman with the green bruise, it sounds to me like he would defend it.
Go and talk to him. I don't know his opinion about it. I don't know his opinion about it. You know, you can talk to him. But I find, you know, I always show respect to them. I talk to them, and the way he talked to me, to be honest, is I don't like it. And to be honest, I'm not begging anybody, or I take the advice on, but as well he need to understand that it's been a long time I didn't talk to them or go on their channel.
You probably just saw you standing with her that week.
Yeah, but he is not my mother or my father to tell me what to do. I'm 58.
But here's the thing though, that I've noticed that you know what just happened to you there. I've never seen anything like happen like that with Christians. Because don't you find it interesting? Because we'd have discussions, we disagree, but we'd never go to another Christian and say to them that, you know, you're and talk to them like you said in such a rough way, like old Mansur did.
I don't know if you realize how did I approach them. I tell them Eid Mubarak, and the way he replied to me, it's a very degraded way. That I have sinned, and that's it. He's telling me come to Islam.
But I'm thinking that's something in the actual how do you say, the way of...
Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak.
Yeah, of course he is alright. So like it's to do with the way of Islam, because in the Bible we're actually told that we're supposed to even love our enemies, and that if someone does something bad against us, we have to try and restore them, but with love. So it's as if this is something which is like missing from the Quran. It sounds to me, where he doesn't feel that there's a rule saying he has to be nice to you, even in the way that maybe he doesn't like what you've done.
The Prophet, peace upon him, teach that if your brother in Islam or in humanity done something wrong, you may find up to 70 excuse to excuse him. And to be honest, they should approach me and dignified way and talk to me nicely. And to be honest, they are wrong. And I may in the future approach him and tell him the way you talk to me, that as I have done major sin and you invite me to Islam, as you are remove me from Islam. And to be honest, you know, how long you know me, I don't know, but I don't know what's your opinion about me and the way how do you see me talking to people.
No, I can give you, because I've watched a few the videos when you're trying to talk to like Bob and Hatun.
What do you think about me? How do you see me?
No, I can give you my opinion directly because I've thought of it already. That you and, to a lesser degree, Abbas, you're trying to fix Islam.
Okay.
That's
and
what you're...
How do you feel I treat people?
No, you treat them fine. You might, I don't know, go on a little bit, but that's okay. You do let them talk. But you don't really shout over them. So if someone shouts, you go quiet. So I haven't seen you try and like how Bob likes to.
Thank you very much. So
yeah.
This is a credit, and I try to show respect to people even when they don't show respect to me. Exactly what.
No. So Abbas is admittedly that's why I talked to. That's why I talk to Abbas. He's the one I talk to the most out of all Muslims, because I can actually talk with him and we can have like a normal conversation. Because even like on my channel, most of the recordings have got him in it.
Yeah.
And because the thing about, I suppose the good thing about him is that he doesn't like he's not trying to do the recordings to like look good to people. And see, I think this is a problem with Mansur and Hashim. But here's the funny thing: you notice how they've split from the other guys as well. I don't know if you noticed that.
To be honest, you know, the way resolves any issue between Muslims is the same like Christianity. The communication, discussion with open heart. This is the best. If for example I harm you in any shape or form, then let's say we are talking, even you are Christian, I am a Muslim. I don't mind that you approach me and you tell me you harm me and such and such and such. If I'm wrong, I would say I apologize, and that's it. We resolve the problem. We are a human, and we need to be kind to each other and find common ground. And we come here we are presenting ourselves, we are presenting our moral, and we are trying to find common ground and a nice way to talk to people. And this is what Quran teaches us. You communicate in good manner and evidence, and that's the way it is.
But do you know that part you're saying about in the Quran where it says about the communication? Do you know if that is in a section which talks about that particular subject? Because we have a similar part in the Bible where it says about how there's multiple parts actually where it says your communication, and how it can actually, there's one where it says it ministers grace to the hearers. What that means is that as you talk, the people who are listening can get something positive from, and might even change their life just because of the nice way. Yeah,
of course. Kindness. Even the Prophet peace upon him said, kindness. It always bring warm heart. The word, actually, the smile and the face of your brother bring positive. The Prophet peace upon him, he teach that even when you pass, you know, even strange people, you don't know them, you say peace upon you, and it will be a cause for them to love you, because your peace is the name of God. You're spreading peace, and this is what it's all about.
But here's the thing. So you just said that was from a hadith. So it sounds to me like you have you think of things in a similar way to Mufti Abu Layth. So what he, because he's another one like you and Abbas, who you could tell he's trying to fix Islam as well.
Islam, it doesn't need to be fixed. Islam, it needs to be understood.
But you saw
it needs to be understood.
Yeah, but you saw what happened.
I saw what happened.
Yes.
But nobody is perfect. And they are human. They can do wrong without even realizing.
Yeah.
They are human. I'm 58. Maybe he's 39. Maybe he didn't reach the stage to make an excuse for what he see I'm doing wrong. He see me, I'm doing wrong. But what I'm saying, as long as he tell me don't talk to Hatun, but you cannot force yourself and tell other what to do. It's my choice.
But here's the thing. Do you know that he might be saying that to you because of external pressure?
Huh?
He might be saying that to you because of external pressure. Because
regardless, but I don't. I cannot, as a human, and you are another human, I come and force you to do something I see right or wrong. You understand? I cannot force you, I can advise you. And as long as for the last almost 6 months I didn't talk to her, besides I'm talking to her and I standing up for what she's saying, I'm exposing her.
Yeah, but I think
you know, at the same time, when I'm refuting her, because if nobody talking to her and she have over 30 people,
she said she doesn't know.
Yeah, like she said.
That's weird.
I'm telling you, I guess she's, you know, Jay Smith. He left her behind, and I guess there is income for her, and when she's not paying them, somebody else will come. This is my opinion, but you know.
But so when you asked her, how was? Can you remember what her face was like? When no, but it matters because
Yeah, like
so it was just it was not nonchalant. No, because see that's actually strange because I don't know if you saw how she used to do live streams like with Daniel and even Kane as well. Yeah, so she knows she's obviously had communications with them. So it doesn't make no sense for her to say that they've just disappeared. That doesn't happen.
that's why she told me she's not here.
No, because I was saying this to Abbas that the fact that happens it's actually because I was trying to I can't remember what I was saying to him. Oh, that's right. Yeah. If you when you what was this? Yeah. When you have a ministry, you're supposed to just like with Jesus. When you have a ministry, people are supposed to people can be attracted to it, and some might leave if you're if you're a bit strict. But even with Jesus, the ones who believed his message, they didn't leave. So if her message was that good, where it was something that she was doing things and it was like a good cause, then they shouldn't have had a reason to leave just because she was being strict. Because being strict about what the Bible says, some people like it, some people don't. But so what should happen? Maybe one or two of them could have left, and say the other two would stay. That's what normally would happen if it's a disagreement over the Bible. But I remember saying to Abbas that if it's to do with her, then that's when everyone leaves. So if it's a problem with doctrine, usually at least half your people would leave. That's what you expect if you disagree about the doctrine.
If you look at her video, she doesn't talk about Jesus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She doesn't talk about the teaching of Jesus. All her talk is against Islam, and this is the same with J. Smith. They have one line, and they are going after it. And that's it. There's nothing positive out of her channel, but negative about Islam. It become obsession,
And this is another thing. That's why. That's kind of even one of the things that kind of convinced me to do videos in the first place. Is that you have most of the people who out here, they've got their channels and they're either on Soko, etc. And they're good at trying to attack Islam, finding hadith. Actually, Paperboy was the best one, so I don't know why he's disappeared. Because he was their best one for actually looking up hadith. And for some reason he's gone, so now...
How are you?
Very good.
You're all right? Good. Hello, how are you?
All right, yeah. So now we're left with the ones who they're not as good at the hadith and not even looking up. And Paperboy, he's good at looking up scholars as well. So now the ones who are left, they're better at shouting, but when it comes to actually being scholarly, they're not that good. So they more have to just. What I noticed is when they're trying to attack Islam, they're just attacking by making comments, not by bringing quotes from the hadith. And because they're like that, and the Hatun's like that, that's what we're getting from the Christians. Is just like with Hashim and Mansur, just attack. So no one's actually getting the message.
Nobody is communicating.
Yeah.
And this is what actually disturbing me and frustrating me, because I try to communicate, for example, with Bob the Builder. He always blocked me and delete me. Sam Shamon, the same. When you're agreed to talk to people and they just want to conceal you and remove you from the picture. And that means their intention is never to find out, to talk. And if I want to shut you up, that means I have my agenda. But you know, there's Ask Truth. He's very nice. He listened to me and we talk, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the rest,
Yeah, so here come the thugs. See, this is the problem. You've got. See, he's a thug, Bob's a thug, and Mansur's a thug as well. So it's like two. And so he's bringing all these crowd with him.
yeah.
The Muslims have got their crowd. So this is just. But you see, what Bob's doing there, that's actually completely wrong.
Look, this is wrong way to approach.
No.
Look, they are coming in like a gang way, and they just want to interrupt.
No, I was going to say. No, you know what Bob's doing? It's completely wrong.
You condemn Mansur.
Because
You have the basics. Answer the question.
and see the way everyone's just crowding around. Oh yeah, I forgot. You know the reason why he always comes up.
Bob has no answer.
Oh, but one thing I was going to say though, you know that none of us as Christians, we can't control Bob. Because he's based. He's like like a gangster. You know like how you got the gangsters from East London, and they come and like that's exactly what Bob's doing. So you can't reason with a gangster.
I guess he is a racist, and he look at English as they are higher, and they have more superiority than others.
Yeah.
And disgusting.
No, it's only.
Look at that guy.
No,
It's like barking men.
Yeah, but like you're saying, he doesn't like the fact they've come in the country, and so he's trying to do his part. But yeah, obviously. But like I say, but unfortunately, we can't do anything about him because, like I say, he's a gangster. So
Like you can stand up for him. That's it. That's it. You can stand up for him.
when you say stand up, what do you?
You stand up for him, and if he want to challenge to talk, many times I challenge him, and he just walk away.
Oh, you mean?
I don't understand why he's attacking these guys.
No, I think you mean stand up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stand against him.
Yeah.
Bob the shouter, I call him, because he comes to shout, and he never take any consideration whatever you tell him. An evil person.
And the problem is, you see, all the people that follow him, they encourage him. So they should actually be telling him to stop. But because he's got all those people behind him, he feels that
he's something.
Yeah.
All right, you call them Hamas.
Guys, don't fight. And they want you to condemn Palestine and support Israel. And there is limited support. Ask him, bring the brother away. Let's bring the brother away. Shame on your prophets!
Shame on your prophet!
Shame on your paedophiles!
No, see, and this is the problem. See the old guy. What's his name again? The Indian guy. See, he's joining Bob because he's the one who's still there shouting at them. And he's Asif. That's it. He's supposed to be a senior who's supposed to like control people, but he's just there helping the gangsters.
So what we would see. Shame on your paedophile prophets! So let's just be clear. They want you to condemn Israel. But as we saw, when the Muslims wanted to talk about Israel and Palestine, we saw that they are quite willing to support laws and ideas that would treat the Christian and Jew worse than Israel treats its Arab citizens. The Arab citizen of Israel has more rights in Israel than Sharia law would afford to any Christian or Jew.
General Dyer, your granddad, very bad person, mate.
Guys,
Stop trying to hide the truth, what he's done to my people.
You into something.
Don't pretend like we don't know. You can't erase the history, all right?
That they, particularly the Islamists, want to impose something worse on you. And we saw that.
Mr. Polish,
they condemn
Mr. Polish,
Israel
you're very angry and jealous. It doesn't help you.
Spain.
All my local churches turning into Tesco's.
Now, also, the Muslims
I'll tell you the areas. Mr. Polish is very angry.
When they interrupt
Mr.
themselves.
Polish is very angry
As
and
we're
jealous.
seeing again right here.
Mr.
But
Poland,
don't feed
kurwa,
him.
kurwa.
Don't feed him. Don't feed him the trouble.
Mr. Poland is
So
very
the
angry about.
reality is, guys,
Mr. Churchill, what did
we
he say
need
about
to wake
the
up.
Bangladeshi people?
that the real
Mr. Churchill,
issue
the white man.
is what would happen
Mr.
under
Churchill.
Sharia law
Mr. General
if the
Dyer.
Palestinian Islamists won.
Oh yes, okay.
The Jews would be treated worse.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Christians
Have you
would
been
be
to
treated
Dubai?
worse
Do you know how many
than
Christians are
Israel.
living there? Dubai, have you ever been? Please
Now,
go on holiday.
Ali
I will
Dawah,
sponsor you.
through his
Go to Dubai, please. See how many of your Christians are living
childish
there.
temper tantrum.
Have you been to the Gulf countries?
And friends
Have you been to the Gulf countries?
in the face. Yeah, he did that.
You're very
He
angry
did
and
that.
jealous. My local church now turning into a Jewish company,
Because of
Tesco.
the death of a child, which we should all condemn. We do condemn.
Oh, you
But he
do?
doesn't condemn Hamas for
You condemn
targeting
Jimmy Savile.
civilians
You're
in
looking
Israel.
like Jimmy Savile. You're looking like white
He
man.
doesn't condemn Hamas for
Yeah, well, of course.
persecuting
It's racist,
Palestinian
isn't it? He's a
Christians.
white man.
He doesn't condemn that.
No, are you related to Ian Huntley? Are you related
So
to
they
Ian
want to
Huntley?
villainize you for
A middle-aged white man.
that Israel has the right to fight terrorists.
Ian Huntley
But they
Same as this
themselves
guy, looks the
are
same.
supporters of
looks and
terrorism.
smells the same.
They themselves won't condemn terrorism. Did you see how easy it was for me
Rolf
to
Harris,
condemn the
Ian
murder
Huntley,
of
how many
Palestinian
tonight?
Do you know why? Because I am a disciple of Christ. Well, do you see how difficult they found it to
if Jesus
condemn
spoke like the way
the
you do, I'm
targeting
not
of women and
surprised Christianity
children?
is vanishing.
They didn't. Why? Because they're disciples of
Jesus
Muhammad.
spoke like the way you do.
And Muhammad in the hadith said this, and one of his Sahaba said, should we raid them even though we might expose their women and children?
More and more
to
people
harm?
coming, leaving
Muhammad
Christianity
said,
every single
they
day.
are among
They
them.
know it's
They
fake.
are from among them, the pagans.
Mr. Poland, it makes you very angry and jealous. Mr. Polish.
And that is why
Yeah, look at the number of conversions on this park, makes you angry and jealous.
women
How many people have converted on this park makes you very angry and jealous. Hey, hold on. I can see it in your eyes, mate.
So
Go that side, go that side. It's not Churchill's time where you can shut us up. It's not Churchill's era. It's not Churchill's era. You can't shut us up anymore. It's not the days of Churchill where you can shut us up, eh? All right?
who are the
Mr. Poland, do you speak Polish? Kurwa, gdzieś mi tkiara, puta mi tkiara.
The more you engage it, the more.
Mr. Poland pretending to be white, eh? Our local churches are closing down, churches are changing into KFC and Tesco's. If anybody wants to contribute, please contact Christian Aid. All the local churches are closing down. People are finding
debate, man. Wait, let them debate, bro. Come on, recording. These are Muslims. Let them debate, man.
Every single week, he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand what we
against Palestinians and kill them by sea, by land, by air. And what are they doing for Palestinians? And what was the reason now people, the Palestinians, are killed and destroyed? Because
the only thing you find in churches today
the police, the Jewish police invade the mosque in the last 3 days of Ramadan and attack the unarmed worshipper Muslim inside the mosque. They broke the door, they went inside, bullet, grenade, bomb against peaceful prayer. 680 people were injured. Then Hamas was done. They wait 3 days and they want the Israeli to stop the humiliation and the oppression of the Palestinians inside the mosque, which by international law they should have respect at least for the people. What was the answer from Benjamin Netanyahu? He went and Hamas started to send missiles, and that's the only way they have, because the technology is with the Israeli backed up by everyone, even against United Nations.
What's the question? What's the question?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so guys, let's just be clear about something. Go and look at your facts. There is a reason why Israel is not bombing the West Bank, because there are not rockets being fired from the West Bank. There is a reason, let me finish, there is a reason why Israel is bombing the Gaza Strip, because there are missiles being fired from the Gaza Strip. Now, Yahya talked about the Palestinians saying, stop the humiliation. Oh, I remember a certain verse in the Quran that says, fight against the people of the book until they pay the jizya and feel themselves humiliated. So Yahya is saying that Israel shouldn't humiliate Palestine and Palestinians whilst believing in a book that says that Muslims should humiliate Christians and Jews. And this is the double standard of the narrative being created by Muslims about this issue. Israel treats Arab citizens better than a Sharia caliphate will treat Christians and Jews. So we can't take lectures from Islamists.
Would you allow me to respond?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. In West Bank, all the Palestinians, they are under the rule of the Israeli. And because they are demonstrating peacefully, 11 people lost their life. Any Palestinian coming close to checkpoint, they'll be shot dead, 11 people. The Israeli, they have many checkpoints, and the Palestinians are humiliated on each checkpoint, and they are never treated equally. This is one. And you talk about the Quran. And the Quran, it teaches fight who fight you, but it doesn't teach if somebody steps you on the right, tell him the left, because God wants you to be with dignity and not to be humiliated. And when I said the the soldier Jew
Sam, you're a bit
invade
late.
the mosque. They
You're a
don't
bit late, aren't you?
because imagine
Anyway, didn't Mansur tell you that you shouldn't support Yahya? They just had an argument.
And start to bomb
No, because you come to record, but Mansur said that Yahya is not one of them anymore.
So let me reply.
Or not one of you anymore.
Let me reply.
Can I say something? Mansur is not my criteria to tell me report. Stand defenders. And I'm blocked even on his channel. When I put on his channel my comment is removed.
Okay, can I, right. So let's talk about what he said. Notice he again appealed to this idea of humiliation and of discrimination. Now, in Saudi Arabia, you can't even be a citizen of Saudi Arabia and a Christian. In Iran, only recently, in the last 5 years, have they allowed the blood money that's paid for the life of Christians to be equal to that of Muslims. In Saudi Arabia, when a Christian is murdered, the blood money that is paid for that murdered Christian is half that of a Muslim. They talk about humiliation. They believe in a system of laws that would humiliate Jews and Christians. Let us remember what Muslims did to Hagia Sophia Church. They've turned it into a mosque.
Yeah. What was before?
They did that recently. The fact of the matter is that Muslims who are talking about Palestine and Israel and are talking about the injustices suffered by Israel, a good number of those same Muslims would want to treat Christians and Jews as worse than Israel treats its Palestinian citizens. Furthermore, we see that this kind of behavior is something that has been practiced for 1400 years by every Islamic empire. Do not take lectures from Muslims about the injustices of Israel without pointing out the injustices implicit within Sharia law. The Quran states, fight those, I'll read it to you.
Wait, before you read.
Fight those who fight you.
I'll just read it to you.
Fight those who don't believe on Allah.
Yahya, listen.
Yeah.
I haven't finished,
I didn't interrupt.
Yes, you did. You're literally interrupting now.
I'm very sorry.
Okay. Bear with us, Yahya.
It's not raining anymore. Leave it, remove it.
Okay.
Stop. Careful with his
So,
eyes.
this is what the Quran actually says. Remember, Yahya said that the Quran says, fight those who fight you.
Self-defense.
This is actually what the verse says. Fight against those who believe not in Allah.
Allah! Come on! Don't try.
It gets worse.
It gets worse.
It gets worse. Fight against those who believe not in Allah, nor in the last day, nor forbid that which has been forbidden by Allah and His Messenger, and those who acknowledge not the religion of truth amongst the people of the book. Who's the people in the book? Christians and Jews.
Yes.
Until they pay the jizya with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. That word subdued can also be translated humiliated. So he's lecturing Israel about humiliation whilst justifying a religion that wants to humiliate Christians and Jews.
Double standard. Double standard.
Okay. Read Deuteronomy 13, 14, 16. If you're This is for apostasy. Even your own brother, father, mother, friend, you kill him by yourself and you stone him to death. Second, in your own Bible, it says kill non-believer. While the Quran, it doesn't allow you to go back, defend yourself and kill who kill you. Because let me remind you that the Prophet, he ran away from Mecca to Medina, 460 kilometers, for the Meccan to go after him, to kill him and to kill all his people. And then they are defending themselves. That's why they have the treaty in Medina along with the Jew who betrayed the Prophet and tried to kill him. And that's why they've been slaughtered according to the law of Moses, because the punishment of a traitor is to put to death. And I give you more reference if you allow me. Now you can respond to me.
Okay. So Yahya didn't address the verse at all. Let's look at what 1400 years, let's look at what has happened over 1400 years of Islamic empires. These are the kinds of discriminatory practices that Christians had to endure and have endured for 1400 years. Muslims can own Christian slaves. This was when slavery was normal, but Christians can't own Muslim slaves. Muslims can marry Christian women, but Christian men can't marry Muslim women. Christians can convert to Islam, but Muslims can't convert to Christianity. Muslims can repair their mosques, but Christians can't repair their churches. Christians can't build new churches in areas where Muslims will be offended. They have to build it outside of the city. Christians can't display their faith openly and outwardly. They had to pay a special tax, sometimes as high as 50%. Not like the zakat, not like the zakat of 2.5%, but higher. Christian children were kidnapped and forcibly converted to Islam. Janissaries. Christian churches were desecrated. Christian religious symbols destroyed. And this has happened in every Islamic empire, from the Iberian Peninsula to that which ruled North Africa and the Middle East, and that which occupied Eastern Europe. Christians, learn your history, speak your history, learn the hagiographies, learn the stories of the martyrs, learn the stories of the confessors, and don't take lectures about Palestine and Israel from people who want to justify these kinds of Sharia laws upon Christians. Yes, condemn Israel and its successors.
We do. Condemn such people.
Condemn the terrorists inside the Gaza Strip and the Muslim community. Call out Muslims like Ali Dawah and Mansur who won't condemn terrorists. Stand up for justice. Stand up for the persecuted church. Yahya, your reply.
Thank you very much for giving me the platform to respond to you. And thank you very much. The Prophet, peace upon him, there is something called Constitution of Al-Madinah. I would like you to read it and to see. The Prophet, peace upon him, he gave the right for all the Jew and all the Christian, except in Al-Madinah and except in Mecca, that they have their own. But the Prophet, peace upon him, have said as well, anyone who are harming a Christian or a Jew, he's harming me and personal. Because the Prophet, peace upon him, he didn't come only to bring Islam and Muslim, but the message of equality between everyone. As the Quran says, that we are, in the eyes of God, we are equal. Like the teeth of the comb, all the people, regardless of their race, color, and religion. And this is the communication between Muslim and Christian should be based on common sense and respect and dialogue, not shouting and crying. Regarding the kill non-believer from the own Bible, you have, as I mentioned, Deuteronomy 13:6-9. You have Deuteronomy 17, 3, 5, 2, Chronicles 15, 13, Deuteronomy 13, 19, Romans 1, 24, 32, Exodus 22, 19. And this is what, according to the Bible itself, God wants believer and He doesn't want non-believer. And when even Jesus comes, even the Jews, they reject Him as their Messiah and they try to kill Him many times. This is why God, saved Him, and you're attacking the Sharia law, but you don't even look at the same way at the law of Moses, which is more strict and more savage. Back to you.
Okay, so Yahya's got himself into a lot of trouble now and he doesn't even realise why. Yahya's got himself into a lot of trouble and he doesn't understand why. So firstly, let's just talk about the Pact of Medina. The Pact of Medina is actually one of the evidences that demonstrates that the Islam of the 7th century is not the same as the Islam of today. Why? Because the Pact of Medina talks about Jews and Muslims as being one ummah. But Muslims don't use that language today. They don't consider Jews as part of the ummah, which means that something changed between the time of the Pact of Medina and the time that later comes along, where Jews and Christians are seen as being outside the Ummah. In other words, the Islam that we have today wasn't the Islam of Muhammad. But it gets worse. Because the contract of Medina was replaced by the Pact of Umar. And in the Pact of Umar, it very clearly creates apartheid, discriminatory laws against Jews and Christians. So Yahya says, look to the Pact of Medina. But Umar himself didn't look at the Pact of Medina. He didn't think it relevant. He created his own pact. And in that pact, Jews and Christians were treated as second-class citizens. Now, Muslims for 1400 years, in every single example, from the time of Muhammad to the time of ISIS and every Islamic empire in between, have treated Christians as second-class citizens. Why? Because their hadiths and their Quran teach them to do so. So what cheek, what double standards, what hypocrisy does Ali Dawah and Mansur and the other Muslim I spoke to have to condemn Israel for its treatment of Palestinians when they would treat us far worse if they are ever given the opportunity to do so? Christians, wake up! There is a bigger issue going on than Palestine or Israel. It is the fact that the Muslim world is marshalling the cause of Palestine to draw you into circles of influence and lower your guard so that they can advance Sharia law that would make you a second-class citizen in your own land. Christians, wake up! Build networks of solidarity to stand with Palestinian Christians, Nigerian Christians, Sudanese Christians, Ethiopian Christians, Burmese Christians, Iraqi Christians, Armenian Christians, Serbian killing of apostates. But his hadiths call for the killing of Muslims who become Christians. Something even Israel does not do.
Okay, yeah, okay, last words. Don't make it too long.
First, Omar, he didn't pray in the church, so the Muslims, they don't invade the churches and pray inside of this. And he gives the right for the Christian at this time, at his time, as a Jew. And Deuteronomy, I mentioned that. Tell follower of other religion. Deuteronomy
of what the world tells us we should think is important, or we can buy into what our faith teaches us is important. We can involve people in the plight of the persecuted church, but we can only do that if we speak out about the persecuted church. And the thing is, what the Islamists are doing is they're bringing people into the sphere of Islam through the cause of the Palestinian. So as Christians, we need to bring people into the sphere of the Christian faith through the cause of the persecuted church. And we need to expose the fact that Christians would be treated worse under Sharia law than any Palestinian is treated under Israeli law. Christians, find your voice, find your balls, find your spine, find your identity, find your solidarity. It's never going to come from Jesus came to replace the law or not. That's a different topic.
Oh, Jesus
So
said,
guys,
I have come to fulfill the law.
I've got, what time, depending on the time, I'm either going to go, what time is it? 6 o'clock. I'm going to go. Yeah. So, God bless you all.
God
No, I'm
bless
going to
you
go.
too.
I'm going, Yahya. God bless you. Yahya, I'm going.
it's better that we bring people
But Ali Dawah's not doing that.
God, we bring people into love of God to communicate.
Yeah, Ali Dawah's not doing that.
To bring
Mansur
division.
is not doing that.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of bringing division between Muslim and Christianity and promote division and hate, we
Teach
need
this
to bring,
good thing to
we
them.
need to bring
Okay, preach that to them.
communication.
Preach that to them.
Ali Dawah.
Teach
Yes.
this.
Thank you, Uncle Asif.
Okay.
Take care.
Teach this. Who did that?
When you approach them, they were talking. The way you approach them, it's very offensive. So
when Muslims are doing this,
look at me. I stand there and I talk to him. Do you like the way I talk to you?
oh yeah,
Thank you very much.
nice. This is nice. But teach them also.
But that's because
Okay.
he's got a Christian wife, so he's got prayers behind him.
Yeah.
He's got the real blood of Christ like
I hate a woman.
Ah! And it's bigger than your thumb! He's got his sticker to hit me with in the back pocket.
So, did you think the way they approached them was like how a gangster would do it?
Huh?
The way that they came around to approach the Muslims?
Yeah.
Didn't they do it like East London gangsters?
That's right.
No, but I'm talking about Bob.
Yeah.
Didn't
because
Bob
they
approach?
because they always
They
run
always
away.
do that.
But they don't mind saying that Jesus F's his mum and blah blah blah. They said that to me today.
Right. So when Jesus was called names by the Pharisees,
Yep, he called them names back.
and he got the apostles, and they went like thugs to go.
No, Jesus already said you whitewashed tomb, you brood of vipers.
Yeah, but he talked, didn't he?
He did, he talked
Yeah,
to
but did-
violent. Bob didn't attack them,
No, but he didn't.
He spoke.
Yeah, but he brought his gang like thugs, though, didn't he?
the cameraman, but people choose to follow around him.
Yeah,
You've
Bob
seen
should've-
Muslims do it as well.
No, Bolshevik told him to go away, and he was talking by himself.
Well,
He
no,
shouldn't have let
it
them
wants
crowd
to
around.
be, it needs to be on camera with Ali because Ali's the one who said a 6-year-old can, his daughter, if she was 6 and if she asked to,
Yeah,
could
but-
marry a 50-year-old man.
Yeah, but what-
he's the one who also went to an innocent woman's house and was filming through her window, calling her a Nazi. innocent woman and her children
Yeah, but that still
live
doesn't-
stream. It means that he needs rebuking,
No,
to my
but-
mind. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
In an ideal situation, it wouldn't happen like that. But there's testosterone involved as well. I don't suffer from it.
Yeah, but that should be controlled.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
11-7.
But I'm saying if it was a completely innocent, like a person who had not much opinion or hadn't said Jesus F'd his mum, like then I'd have much more sympathy. To be fair, because there's no intimidation. They don't fear attack. They don't think the bomb's going to hit them. Do you see what I'm saying? It's in the parameters of still discussion, even if it's heated.
No, but the thing is that with
Ali
Jesus,
says that people should be killed for leaving Islam in this country.
yeah, well, the Pharisees would have people killed as well.
Yeah, but the Pharisees had some authority in that they were discerning the word of the true God. Not
Yeah,
discerning, sorry, disseminating.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is the way that Jesus responded. He didn't respond by shouting.
But he wasn't a pushover either. He wasn't a pushover either. He turned over the tables. Okay, there's an act of violence. He turned over the tables.
I'm sure he wasn't a pushover.
I'm sure he wasn't a pushover, yes.
All right. So when he was in the, you know, in Luke 4, when he was in the synagogue,
Yeah.
when they went to drag him to the cliff, was he a pushover then?
No, otherwise he'd have got thrown over the cliff.
No, but they dragged him. Well, okay.
Well, that's not pushover. They didn't kill him.
No, but my point is, would Bob allow them to drag him?
Well, he said though that he could bring legions of angels if he so chose to. We know that he was never in any danger.
Yeah, but my point is,
And he's given an example for human beings, turn the other cheek, etc., etc. But he's also saying, sell what you have and buy a sword. He's not pacifist.
I know, but he still allowed himself to be manhandled.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Son of Man
Bob,
came to suffer.
So Bob will do that.
Bob may have to be manhandled eventually. Hatton gets manhandled. I don't agree with her stance on, you know, a lot. I agree with her stance, but not her recklessness. I don't think you have to make them hate you because the missing link. So where am I going to start? I can't say sin entered the world through one monkey. You know what I mean? Right, we're going. We're going. Stay. Yes. You see how excited I
I'm using for my 3G for this as well.
Did you record when I was talking to them?
Yeah, it's been streaming all the time.
You didn't record when I was talking to them?
Yeah.
Did you record it?
It's been streaming all this,
good.
it's been streaming all this time.
Good, because uploaded on your
No, it's a live stream. It's already up there.
Anyway, put Islam Defender Yahya. Islam Defender Yahya. Put my name so people can check, because I have 2 videos about what happened in Palestine, and so people can come to my channel and see it.
All right. You mean on the? You have to. Yeah,
On my own channel, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I've got to stop it now because I'm having to pay for all the data, man. Like I said on the description, I'm not that rich, so obviously there's guys who've got big money, they can spend, they can have this free money all day on their 3G. van came when Bob. So it's because of what they did why the van came in the helicopter. So you realise it's actually the so-called Christians that caused the police to come. And they want to say that the Muslims are thugs, but they're the ones causing the problem. If you want to be notified when I release any videos, then just click on subscribe and then click on the bell and select all. And so then you'll receive all of the notifications for when I release any videos. Israelites will return to take down.
This too much noise.
You are
Anytime you come, you can say salam to me. I start remembering you. Yeah? Okay, salam alaikum. God bless you.
you want to be notified when I release any videos, then just click on subscribe, and then click on the bell, and select all. And so then you'll receive all of the notifications for when I release any videos. Israelites will return to take down